Hey everybody, welcome to Valentine TV. I am so glad to see y'all. As you come in, y'all, please hit the like, subscribe, and don't forget to share, okay? The reaction is coming from Murad Morelli. You can find him on YouTube. And y'all know how bad Jay-Z and them, what they wanted so bad. They even offered $250,000, I think, a year or a month or something to help with the community, and y'all already know. Y'all just y'all know they want that darn casino. Absolutely not. Keep on pulling out, trying to pull all the big wigs out. They was popping out too, boy, popping out. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start it off, and I'll be back with my reaction, okay? And y'all, please, as you come in, hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to Valentine TV. I would appreciate it so much. Thank you.
We have to get into this. Please listen to this video carefully because this article is revealing basically some very manipulative stuff. You guys, that's Morali daily and consistent content. Do subscribe to the channel and let's get straight into this video. Vanity Fair, inside the war over Jay-Z's New York City casino. The rap legend recruited everyone. Secret plans, which have now been revealed, from Alicia Keys to Al Sharpton to Charlamagne, to land a $5.4 billion gambling palace in Times Square. How everything basically failed. Tens of billions of dollars, thousands of jobs, and quite possibly the fate of New York's most iconic industry and most awful tourist trap were all at stake. But the closing days of a years-long fight over whether to build a casino in Times Square seemed to revolve around Jay-Z. Al Sharpton was recruited. He headlined a rally just south of Times Square's iconic red steps, saying yes time in Times Square, Jay-Z, Jay-Z, he was shouting. Hov, through his entertainment firm Rocnation, poured hundreds of millions of dollars, it's now been revealed, into a stake in the project, according to Desiree Perez. Then Rocnation joined Holiday's company SL Green and Caesars Entertainment in spending millions and millions more promoting it to sometimes wary lawmakers.
Shoot, they spent more promoting it than it actually probably cost to run it. You know what I mean? And y'all know I can't let it play straight through. So, all right.
The public at large. The goal, to secure one of the 3 licenses for casinos in the New York City area. So they're recruiting Al Sharpton, to run around and do speeches, and then they're pouring millions and millions of money into lawmakers and into the public. Where's all of this millions coming from? Where are hundreds of millions of this money via Rocnation coming from? Their main prime cash cow, Beyonce, which is why she's continuously going on tour every single 2 years, is because Jay-Z wants and needs that money to help please investors. Why that makes sense? Listen closely and you will understand why. On Wednesday, yesterday, everything fell apart. Before a bid could even be considered by the state's regulators, it had to capture 4 of 6 votes from a community advisory committee, all appointed by local politicians. That vote finally happened after years of build-up, and the committee rejected the bid. This led to a major breakout in that room.
You know it. We met the standard and then some, and the only one with courage to stand up is the governor and the mayor appointees, and everybody else runs and hides. Go run.
I finally got me a laugh, y'all. That joker hot about that thing. He wanted that darn casino. He wanted one he could just walk to. And man, don't nobody want no casino. They know them children. Oh. Could that have been the real underlying reason they may have wanted that darn casino, huh? Don't know. I'm just saying.
And everybody else runs and hides. Go run and hide. Because what you did, the benefits you denied this community and this city and state, you have to live with that history forever.
Despite support from the mayor and the governor of New York, the Times Square casino is officially now dead. It's a massive loss for all of the partners in the Times Square project, including the most famous one, talking about how he's from these neighborhoods. Jay-Z told the advisory committee members as they sat across a conference table, we hear a lot of talk about the community. We are the community. We're not saying give it to us because we happen to be Black, Hispanic, and female, Desiree Perez tells me right before the big vote. I mean, that's insane. What kind of racial manipulative tactics are being used here by people? Give it to us because we happen to be Black, Hispanic, and female. That's what we're not saying.
Oh my God, no, she didn't. She just it's probably well. I'm glad they didn't get it because I think it's what is the School of the Arts there? Kids be going there. You know what I'm saying? All the kids want to go to Times Square. You know, just oh my gosh. Put it in y'all's neighborhood. That's what y'all do. Not y'all was from there. Y'all are from there and you complained about having a darn liquor store on every corner. So now you want to put a casino on one too? Weird.
Right before the big vote. This is how Desiree Perez is working. When there's a big class divide between the wealthy and the poor of those who are Black, Hispanic, and female. So Desiree Perez is using these racial politics to help get this casino, and clearly that didn't take place. Wow, I can't believe she even said that. And of course, these reporters are clearly calling them out because they're putting in the shade right before the big vote. Jay-Z's allies argued that opponents weren't just a bunch of finger-wagging hall monitors standing in the way of thousands of Black and brown people getting casino jobs. They were, according to Sharpton, oligarchs. But this was a crazy word to use, given the fact that Jay-Z actually has billionaire status. So therefore, wouldn't that make him an oligarch too? But the
billionaire status, well, he said status, he from London, of course. But anyway, y'all, wouldn't too long ago, wouldn't Jay-Z and them borrowing money or trying to borrow, get big loans and all that, and got denied? That's what I heard. Okay, got denied from getting some big loan that they wanted. But I think that's when never mind. Anyway, it happened. Okay, allegedly, in my opinion. Something I was gonna say. Oh, the funny part of this was the kicker for me, y'all. They even tried to get Charlamagne. They trying to get him. He gonna try to walk around over there and like he gonna make a difference in something, right? Like he can make a difference. He remember what Dame Dash asked him at the Breakfast Club or at the yeah. I'll never hear you mention Jay-Z. He's not in the room. We shouldn't talk about people that are not in the room. You know what I'm saying? And Dame was like, I think you've been being paid or some. Dame said they gonna show it anyway. But anyway, hold on a minute. Here we go.
opposition had its own case to make, and that case ultimately prevailed. Casinos weren't just dangerous to the theater community, they argued. They rarely bring the revenue they promise. One of the casinos in upstate New York barely is bringing in revenue and needs $585 million from the government to even stay afloat. What's more, casinos tend to bleed money from the sort of communities that Jay-Z is trying to represent, the Black and brown communities. Promises to the contrary were empty and even harmful to the community. So isn't this, hypocritical? Jay-Z's interest in casinos even goes way back to more than 15 years, where he's been trying to do this. One of the bidders tapped Jay-Z for informal marketing and community advice. That bidder eventually won, beating out companies like SL Green. But after that, the deal was, clearly collapsed. Jay-Z and Rocnation can continue to explore casino deals, and then conversations began in 2022, where all of this slowly began to unfold. There was fear that a casino would leach more from the neighborhood than it would add. Every casino bidder promised hundreds of millions in improvements to the community around them. Each casino bid faced opponents who noted those payments were a rounding error compared to the money to be made. Early on, the Times Square group approached State Senator Liz Kruger. She may have been a die-hard gambling opponent.
Now this was the good one too. They will try anything. That lets me know I'm so glad that I'm trying to be I am a content creator. Well, um, reaction reaction videos. I because I would not know any of this stuff that I know right today if I wasn't doing this. And I'm so glad because they trying everything to get that darn casino in there. They tried everything, y'all. Just tried.
I voted against bingos in church basements, she once told me, but she controlled one of the 6 votes on the Times Square CAC. So therefore, she was an important person because she was part of the 6. In a Zoom meeting, she said the casino team asked her if she wanted to meet Jay-Z. She responded saying, "Why? I don't even like his music anyways." She records saying, them responding, "Well, you don't want to meet Jay-Z? You do know who he's married to." Boom. There we go. Once again, this article is exposing the fact that Rocnation and Jay-Z are using Beyonce as that chess piece. Like she's a cash cow when it comes to all the tools and the money. Right here, they are persuading somebody on the board in these Zoom meetings, which have now been exposed and revealed, detailing to us that they were using her as a chess piece. You don't want to meet Jay-Z? Okay, you don't like his music, but look who he's married to, Beyonce, one of the biggest A-listers in the world. Let me push Beyonce. And of course, if she agreed, Beyonce would be like that. Right there, out of nowhere, cleared her entire schedule to sit there and speak to Liz Kruger and smile on her face and sweet talk everything. Not because Beyonce wants to do that, but because Jay-Z has told Beyonce to do so. Beyonce's been living under Jay-Z 24/7, but at the same time, Jay-Z is also benefiting off Beyonce's status. Beyonce to
He's saying status. But also I always heard it was the other way around though. Jay-Z does what Beyonce say do. Or maybe they just help each other. They are married. If you got it, I got it. All right, that's what I think. I always thought Beyonce wore the pants and all that in the family.
me is just that cash cow puppet of Jay-Z. And clearly all of this is showing so. It's not surprising to me that a couple of days ago they were cozying up with the Krishners, sitting on that table at their own event where they organized the seating, they organized who was invited, who was not invited, and there she was smiling in their faces. She does everything that Jay-Z tells her to do. Point blank, period. She's still a grown-ass adult, but at the same time, I doubt that whatever she publicly wants to try stand for in her music to get everybody to buy it is what she really stands for. Liz Kruger did not meet Beyonce, nor did she get together with Jay-Z, not even when Jay-Z went up to the state capitol in Albany this May. But the Times Square casino crew used other secretive ways to make their plans more convincing. They recruited a former NYPD commissioner, Bill Bratton, who came up with a $78 million plan to secure the neighborhood with drones and cameras and a private security force. Wow.
Oh my God.
They pledged to buy 10.
I heard that Perez was trying to almost that I heard that Jay-Z better watch Perez because she may be trying to take Rocnation from him because he does not own 51%. I'm thinking he's in Rocnation. I mean, he's Rocnation, but she is too. Okay, so I don't know if it's 33s across the board, but I think he is 51. No, 50-50. Him and her. Perez and Jay-Z. But I always thought Jay-Z had the more shares. But he does not. So he better watch the little lady. You see what she tried to do to her daughter, her own daughter.
They pledged to buy tens of millions of dollars worth of theater tickets to boost the Broadway economy because theater boys and girls were proving to be a big opponent. And they made this a point over and over and over again. However, this obviously did not work because this clearly did not make any sense. Even the neighbors of the people around this new casino were also worried. Plenty of locals did not want this at all. But what happened? Fat Joe was recruited, who was a Rocnation client, to basically give 8-hour free buffets for the locals to show up, to lend support to the locals, to help persuade them that, this casino is needed. I think it's a really predatory business, said Aletta Lafargue, who is president of the Tenants Association of the local area. So if they're not going to recruit Beyonce, if they're not going to, recruit Al Sharpton, then you're bringing in Fat Joe to bring free food to the people of the locals around the area for the casino to prove to them that this is needed. How predatory and manipulative is this? It's absolutely insane. This July, Desiree Perez announced that the casino would give $22.5 million over 15 years to Manhattan Plaza and put 0.5% of the casino's profits into a trust controlled by the residents. Considering the projected bill to remodel 1515 Broadway into a casino would come out to $5.4 billion, that stake would and could prove to be beyond lucrative. In comes Alicia Keys, a Rocnation client who grew up in Manhattan, reportedly met residents later that day to talk up the deal. The tenants' associations withdrew from the anti-casino coalition a few days after that. So Alicia Keys now has also been brought in to talk to the locals and persuade them. And it's insane to me because you would have thought that the likes of Beyonce, Fat Joe, Alicia Keys, Al Sharpton would have had a far busier schedule of work that they need to do. But when their master, Jay-Z, instructs them to speak to locals because they're so desperate to have this casino, immediately they fall in line to do what they're told to do. Residents' reactions were very mixed. However, more than a few were worried that the grant had hidden strings attached. And so therefore, this $22.5 million was withdrawn because they did not even want that. And I'm glad that they don't. It even gets crazy, guys, because Charlamagne the God popped by a CAC hearing and expressed his support. So did Fat Joe, who introduced himself with his given name. Other casino bidders have some measure of star power. The fact that Charlamagne there is insane.
All right. Your video.
To me, because who even asked you to go and support Jay-Z? And it's funny to me because a couple of days ago, Dame.
Yo, that's what I was trying to say. I'm sorry about that pause thing. My sister was on the phone. Sorry about that. But did y'all see Charlamagne? Y'all see, that's the part I wanted. Because he think, you tell me that Jay-Z ain't helping the dude out. Y'all think Charlamagne, y'all think he getting paid under the table? Testing. Can y'all hear me? Okay. I'm just gonna keep going, okay?
Who introduced himself with his given name. Other casino bidders have some measure of star power. The fact that Charlamagne there is insane to me because who even asked you to go and support Jay-Z? And it's funny to me because a couple of days ago, Dame Dash went viral when he confronted Charlamagne and saying, you don't ever actually critique this man. Why is that the case? Why are you always licking his ass, but everybody else you want to come at?
After the Puff stuff, let me say this. This is my assessment. I've never heard you say one thing bad about Jay-Z, not one.
He's not in the room. You shouldn't talk about it.
Well, here you have. Charlamagne is also under Jay-Z's rule and neck because why are you popping up at hearings trying to support this casino when nobody's asking you to?
See, I told you. I told y'all. He just, y'all see, he was coming around that corner. He was coming to help. Eyes all wide. Where you at? Where you at? I got you, man. And you still got a big fat no. My gosh. Let me see. I think my thing too loud. I hope I ain't echoing like the video.
Do so, and you're not getting paid to do so anyways. But of course, good behavior will lead to good reward, and therefore he will get more opportunities working at the Breakfast Club and wherever the hell that he wants to do. So is he also just playing chess? These were the only backers. Several of the city's most powerful unions supported his and pretty much every other casino project because of the jobs they'll provide. They helped also convince Zoran Mamdani to table his previous oppositions to casinos as well. Crazy that he can be bought. But there have been consistent ingrained community opposition to pretty much all of the Manhattan projects as well. So, this to me is wild beyond belief. Wild beyond belief. Sharpton, for his part, brought things back to Hob. He stressed at the Broadhurst that Rocnation would give the casino diversity at an ownership level and added, you're just not going to give a token. Jay-Z's nobody's token. He's a token booth. It's a great turn of phrase, especially for New Yorkers. And to be honest with you, Al Sharpton's talking BS. This casino is nothing short of a predatory enterprise that is going to leech off people around the locals and the black and brown community to take as much money from them as possible. Any promise that they want to help the residents or help Times Square, help New York, help the community is complete BS. I wouldn't be surprised if they started monetizing the prison industry complex and making these prisoners turn into effective slaves, which is already
Exactly. Somebody else brought up about the they get so much of the however many prisoners is in there, that's how many they can get to do work for way less money. That's why so many of the jobs are being like terminated and stuff like that. That's what I heard today. Yeah. But that was on the news. That was on the news show. But anyway, here we go, y'all. Because they was up to no good with this casino. They thought they was gonna make them a freaking pizza. You know what I mean? Pizza. That's all I'm gonna say.
happening as it is, but on a subsidiary level that is owned by Rocnation and Jay-Z, and then they're praised for helping, you know, black and brown people in the prison complexes, or, you know, very similar to how Jay-Z was going to help Colin Kaepernick with the NFL, but then swooped in, ended up neglecting that, and now controls who plays at the NFL because he has that hand. He uses everything for leverage. So does Desiree Perez, so does Rocnation, so do so many different enterprises. And it's not surprising to me now because Live Nation guys are also facing a lawsuit in regards to fraudulent ticket selling, and people are very concerned. This goes back to what Nicki Minaj tweeted when she said that her tour money, some of it basically went missing, and she feels like some of that was used for money laundering or some kind of fraudulent stuff. So now it's not odd upon me that Live Nation and Ticketmaster guys have been accused of allowing ticket brokers to rake in millions from the resales. FTC and 7 states have officially, guys, filed lawsuits claiming that resellers' violations of ticket purchasing limits were completely ignored and that they were ignored on purpose. A very interesting article, guys, that has been introduced via Vanity Fair. And this was written by somebody called Noah Shatman. And I'm going to
Okay, so I'm gonna leave it right there. If y'all want to watch the rest, y'all can go to Morelli on YouTube. All right, and if you have any comments, please put them in the chat, and I will answer them in a little bit. Okay. All right. Thank y'all for joining Valentine TV. Bye.